how's it going, everybody? I'm sick. So since I'm sick, I'm gonna stay inside and make this video for you guys because I've gotten a lot of comments asking how do I maintain all my tanks, how do I do certain things with them, and yada yada yada, that whole deal. So I'm gonna go through one by one and show you guys what I do, how I do it. I'm gonna do water changes on all but one tank. Only one tank doesn't need a water change because I did it last week, and that would be Kevin's tank, the Flowerhorn. All the other tanks are all getting roughly like a 15 to 20% water change. I'll show you guys what I use to scrub like the little algae and stuff off the side, that whole deal. We'll get into all of it, and then at the end I will show you guys me feeding everybody, showing everyone's happy in their new water. So let's get into it. We're gonna start with the mini Nano reef tank, the beach tank, whatever you guys want to call it. We're gonna start with that, which is right over here. Look at this. Here she is. As you can see, ew, awfully dirty. This tank is still fairly new. It's going through a horrible algae cycle. None of this is bad algae. This is all good algae. I know some of it looks a little purple. It's not cyano. Trust me, I've dealt with that before. This is not that. I think I'm also going to take some snails out of my big reef tank and put them in here just to help with this, and hopefully it'll be under control. But as you guys can see, both the clownfish are doing very, very well. The shrimp, he is down there. He's a coral banded shrimp. He's doing very well. The purple little wrasse dotty back thing that was in here, he died within the first night. So nothing hurt him. I think there was just something probably prior that killed him. I don't know if it was stress or what, but he just ended up dead literally that night. So I don't know what happened to him. That is the update on this tank. I also put this little piece of coral in here just to see, because it wasn't doing the greatest. I don't know if you guys can see that right there. I'll zoom in on it. That piece right there. I put that in here just because it wasn't doing the greatest in the reef tank, the big reef tank. I decided to throw it in here and see what it does, and it's kind of doing about the same. So I don't know if there's something wrong with it. Maybe it's in a bad spot. I've moved it multiple times and it just hasn't done well. So yeah, I'm gonna get into, I'm gonna scrub this tank down. What I do is I scrub the outside, like get all the algae off. Then I siphon the water out, and then from there, I will then refill it. So let's get into that. So now that the glass is all scrubbed, I got this little hose right here, if you guys can see that. I stick it in there, and I suck on the other end and start siphoning all the bad water that's now mixing around into a jug down here. And then I'll go around the bottom, kind of mixing it up, sucking up some of the algae in here, some of the poop. And usually it does pretty well. Some of this algae I won't be able to get out just because it's a siphon. It's not like a vacuum necessarily. But it sucks out the majority of the bad stuff out of the water. I kind of just make my rounds, drain about 3-4 gallons out. This is a 13 gallon. So I take about 3-4 gallons out I do every 2 weeks. Alright, so as you can see, I got the tube in there, the gravel vac. It is ran down into this here. And I'm going to take about 2-ish gallons out, or about 1.5. Actually, I'll do about 3 gallons just because I haven't done it in like 3 weeks on this tank, just because I was letting it cycle a little bit longer than normal. But we're going to take about 3-ish gallons out. It's 13.5 gallons, so by the time we take that, it should be roughly, I don't know, that's roughly 15%, we'll say, 15-20%, something like that. You really can do as much of a water change as you want. Like, I wouldn't do like 100%, obviously that's how you kill your fish and stuff like that, but we're going to continue sucking out some of this water here, and I'll pick up the camera when it's done. Alrighty, and as we're coming to an end here of filling or draining this tank, let me know if you guys are experienced reefers and have some experience in the hobby. Let me know what a good nano light is for this tank, because I want a light that has its own program, because this one I have to come over here, tap it to change it and all that. I don't want to do that because I want to get coral for this, and I know they need certain cycles and stuff like that. So what is a good nano light? You guys can leave that in the comments down below. That would be greatly appreciated, because I've been struggling to find one that I really like, that has like cycles that I can just set on my phone and be done with it. I don't want nothing super fancy and expensive, just because I'd rather do the fancy and expensive stuff on my main reef tank, just because who wouldn't? But for this one, just something simple. Doesn't have to be anything crazy, but something that has the proper cycles, good lighting for corals and stuff like that. I want to do an anemone and stuff like that for the clownfish to have fun with, and progressively move into newer fish and stuff like that. But just something to throw in the comment section if you guys would. So as you can see, we are coming up on this 3 gallon mark. So what I do is I come over here and I try not to mess the lid up too bad. I lift this up like that and make sure it doesn't drip anywhere, and do that. What I like to do is set this nozzle right here. Actually, I'll stick it in the towel. That way it doesn't drip anywhere. And then you pull, Here's the other end. Set this end in the towel as well because you don't want to make a mess. Otherwise, your mom will kill you. All right? Don't let mom kill you. And we shall go dump this out. And then I will show you guys how I mix new salt water. All right. So I come outside right here and dump. It's probably not the best for the grass, but it'll be all right. We get enough rain. It'll wash it away. It won't kill the grass or nothing like that. It's only 3 gallons. I mean, I dump that out and ta-da, all done. So then you come back inside here. If you guys watched a previous video of mine, you recognize what this is. So what I do is I come over here, set that there, pop the top off of this salt. And this is the salt I use. It's just regular instant ocean. Like, there's nothing fancy about it, not no fancy reef salt or Red Sea or anything like that. I'd like to, but I started with this and everything's doing well with this. So I'm scared to slowly change it because you have to do like a gradual change. But if it's easy, I might do it. You guys let me know if you've done it before. But I have a little funnel. Stick the funnel in here. So I know I'm gonna do 3 gallons because that's what I took out. So I come over here and I get this is a half cup. So for this salt, every half cup is 1 gallon. So 1, 2, 3, and shake it all off a little bit. Throw that in there. Grab my tube of RO water, shove that in there, plug it in. Oh, wrong way. Plug it in, and it starts filling up. Look at that. Yeah. So I know some people, they like to mix the water the night before. I've never had an issue with mixing it like literally and then dumping it. I don't really see a difference. I've talked to multiple people. Everyone does it differently. There's no really right or wrong, I don't think. I'm sure one's probably better than the other, but this is what I do, so whatever. All right, so we're almost at 3 gallons. So I unplug it because there's still quite a bit of water in here. It will slowly rise because it's still siphoning. And as it gets close, I pull it out, I plug it with my finger, and I give it one of these. And it blows up in there because I don't want it to keep siphoning water out. Then I'm able to just set it right there. I come over here, grab my cap it off, and then I take it and I go crazy with it. And then sometimes I like to peek inside, make sure it's all mixed up. Looks real foggy and mixed up into me. So then you come on back inside here and we pour it back in the tank. And that is how I do a water change on the little Nano tank. As you see, there's little particles floating around, because I poured it on the rock, so it will all get and pushed into the overflow and into the filter. Eventually, it won't be like that kind of thing. But then I throw my tube down, take this little towel I got, try and wipe off some of the edges a little bit, just so there's not a mess or anything dripping around. But for right now, this is just what I do. I'll come through and Windex them all when I'm done. Second, look at this guy. That's my boy Kevin right here. This is Kevin. He's an angry man. He doesn't like me. But this one does not need a water change. All I need to do is go through and scrub the glass, and over here in this spot, I need to add another little tiny flow maker like this, but over here so it doesn't do that. And look how clean this side is compared to that side. So as you can see, the flow maker works. Does not allow algae to be produced. So I'm going to go through, scrub this tank. He's going to probably bite the scrubber because that's what he loves to do. And then that's it. That's all we got to do for this tank. I stick the top of this sponge in here, and look at him go. He's pissed. Kevin, no, don't do that. No, stop it, Kevin. So you just go, no, Kevin, look out. He gets real mad at it. I don't know what his deal is. Like, I do this all the time, yet he still does not like it. But I don't get too crazy just because I don't like bothering him. But as you can see, he's not happy about it. He just bites at it. He doesn't really do anything to it. It doesn't hurt him. It's just foam, and he doesn't eat it, so that's good. I flow this around a little bit just to help the filter pick some of it up, and it should be good to go. All right, as you can see, Kevin's still pissed. He doesn't like when I go in his house, but, you know, I gotta do what I gotta do. As you can see, there is some poop floating around the filter. I'm gonna pop that little lip off right there, clean it out real quick. It should start sucking up all this stuff, but I clean the filter out like it's a canister filter. I don't like opening and closing them a lot just because the seals and the gaskets start to leak, and I don't want to leak, obviously. So I only clean out his actual canister filter once a month. That's pretty much it for his tank. We're going to move on to my smaller, it's a little 10-gallon planted freshwater tank. It's got little guppies, mollies, platies. There's a crab in there somewhere. I don't know where it is. There's a pleco. They've been breeding like crazy, and there's getting to be too many fish in the tank. So any ideas on what we should do with those fish, you guys comment them below as well. So let's run in there, and I'll show you guys at that tank. Look at Sassy, guys. Look at her. She just got a grooming, so she looks less ugly. The teeth Still ain't it. Still working on them. You got some jacked up teeth there, bud. Still kind of slow, but you know, it is what it is. We still love her. She's a good dog, and she likes to lay on my bed. So here she is. So over here is the tank I've been talking about. We got a little bit of everything in here. As you can see, we got little orange babies now. Look at that. A couple little orange platies in there. Or mollies. I don't know if these are considered mollies or platies. That one's a swordtail, I think. I don't know what's in here anymore. There's the pleco back there. He's moving around. And there's also a fiddler crab in here. The fiddler crab likes to climb up and over in the back there and go into the overflow box. And I've pulled him out 3 or 4 times and he just keeps going back in. So I've kind of just given up and he's going to do his thing because he can go actually back and forth. So don't know how he does it, but he does it. Look, even the pleco, he came out to say hello. He was very shy at first, but now he likes me. As you can see, both of these plants are actually new in this tank. We bought them in the setup for this aquarium, and there used to be actually a lot of algae in this tank, like the little hair algae. It has cleared up a lot. As you can see, these snails, I don't know if you guys can see that little guy right there. There's a bunch of little snails in there, but they've actually helped a lot with this. I've also trimmed this tree in the back 3 times. It keeps growing back bigger and bigger and bigger. This little grass plant is growing around. I kind of like it. I've been letting it go, but pretty soon I'm probably going to move the treasure chest and put more plants in here, and hopefully we can make something cool of this tank. So let's, I'm going to go, I got to scrub the inside and then vacuum it out and fill it back up. So let's do it. And look at that, everyone's happy and healthy and all the fish are good. Everyone's happy and yeah, there's gonna be, like I said, the particles are floating around. It'll go in the overflow in the back and everything will be good. But this is looking much, much better. Hopefully they will feel much better. I don't know what to me, I picture it as like I'm on the top of like a mountain breathing in like fresh oxygen. That's how like I picture like clean water for them is, you know. It's probably nothing like that, but I like to believe that. Yeah. So last but not least, we got one more tank left and it is in here. Let me show you guys. It is the 90 gallon, 100 gallon, it's like a 95, 100 gallon reef tank that I have right here. It's a cube, but I've been having some issues with corals. As you can see, we got that one right there looks dead. The one next to it looks dead. Right there and there are both dead. I had one that fell, but it was already dead, and this one dead. So miraculously, all the ones that are dead are hard corals. So I don't know if that's a weird thing, but for some reason, all the hard corals died. I was dosing manually. I didn't buy a doser, but I was dosing and made sure everything was good. I tested everything was still good, and they still died. So I don't know what happened there. I think I'm just gonna stay away from hard corals for now until I get an actual dosing pump and then test for alkalinity, calcium, and all that stuff again, magnesium, all those fun elements. We'll test for those again some other time. Maybe I'll take it somewhere to actually get tested for that kind of stuff because maybe I don't know what I'm doing when it comes to hard corals. That's totally possible. I'm still learning stuff. But for now with this tank, I'm gonna stick with soft corals. Hopefully I'll have better luck with those because I have been doing great with actually soft corals. As you can see, look at that down there. It's doubled in size. I think this is a zoa. It's doubled in size. The mushroom down here is moving. It moved off its to there. I don't know why. I guess it didn't like that spot and it's gonna move around. The GSP up here is doing phenomenal. It's doubled in size since it's been here in Florida. That guy over there, I don't know what kind of coral he is. I'm terrible with the names and memorization of stuff. Hang on, I'm a little zoomed in still. But the hammer is doing well, is doing good as well. That's what I'm looking for. So I'm gonna go ahead, drain out some of the water. I gotta turn off, let me show you what I do here for them. I come down here to the sump. This one is a little more intense. So this is a sump for anyone who's curious. Right here is the skimmer. I have to pull this little top off right here, clean it out. There's a filter sock back here that I have to clean out. Then there's this little white spongy piece right here that I pull out and I wipe it down, or I spray it out and clean it as well. Everything in the sump here looks fairly clean, so I don't have to come in here and vacuum anything out. But what I'll do is I come down here, I unplug the DC pump controller, and it will, as you can see, it will slowly fill this back up because it backflows from up here. And what I like to do, oh, now you can hear the overflow is all clogged and undone. I let this go up quite a bit just because I want this to have water in it while it while it sits. I don't want to suck too much water out. And this also helps me gauge how much water I need, because I like to keep it to where if the power shuts off, it only comes up to about right here. So right now it's about on track to that. If you do want it to stop, let's say it comes up all the way to here, you just come over here, you grab the outflow and you just lift it up, let it gargle a little bit, and you can set it back down and it's done. So that is it. It is done. I'm gonna unplug the wave maker as well, actually. Oh, hang on. The auto top off's freaking out. It's telling me we're flooding. Okay, let's pause you. Wave maker, which should be this one, right? Yeah. What? Why are you beeping again? Right now, there is zero flow in the tank. So what I will do is I come through with this, let me show you guys what I use. I use the big Python. It's the 25 foot. I got it. Look at this big hose. All right, so this here is the big Python, something, I don't know what it's called actually. It's a siphon hose. Has a little shut-off valve up there and all that. So what I'll do is I stick the big end, obviously in here, and then I run the hose outside the door and into the bushes around the corner there. I look at the tank and you suck it. And gravity, look at that, gravity does the rest. So that's it. Then you come back inside, grab the nozzle here. It's gonna fall a little bit. And I go around and I just hover everything like I do in all the other tanks. Hover around and pick up all the poop, mix up the sand a little bit, do all that typical stuff. I'm gonna take about 15-ish gallons out of here. I'm also gonna remove all the dead coral and toss them. And I'm probably gonna be wrong and some of these won't actually be dead and you guys will be mad at me because I threw them out. But they've been in here long enough to where if something was gonna change, it didn't. They've been moved around the tank, everything. So that's my argument towards it. I'm probably wrong. So I'm sorry if they were still alive and I killed them. For my expertise, which is not much, they look dead to me, so I'm gonna pull them out of the tank because they're useless. And one of these next upcoming videos, we will go and pick out more soft corals. And now I will go mix up some more water. I'm not gonna show you guys that process because you already saw it. Same exact way, fill it up. I'll mix about 15 gallons, see where that gets me. And then I try and keep it around the same level each time I change the water. So, and then once we fill that up, then we'll go underneath. We'll clean out the filter sock and we'll clean out the skimmer. And that'll be it. Let's get on with filling the water. Alrighty, so the water's all mixed up. Little tip / secret for you guys. Let me see what you guys can see here. Okay, so you guys can see where my hand is. So what I like to do is you come over here, you fold a towel once or twice, whatever you prefer, and you lay it right on top, just like that. I'll actually fold it to where it drapes over the other side, and you set your jug on top of it when you're pouring it, and all the water that will drip will actually catch it on the towel. The towel will catch it is what I'm saying. We're gonna go ahead, let's dump all the water into the tank and see where we're at. Our towel off here. I have an old towel sitting here as well. Sassy, what's your deal? You gotta go outside? Okay, hang on one second. Let me finish this real quick. I'll take you out. So then you come back down here and you go over to this here guy, plug your return pump back in. And then I'll go ahead and plug my flow maker back in as well. Now everyone's blowing around. And then this overflow back here will fill up to usually about right there is where I like to keep it. Sometimes I have to come through, tweak the valve a little bit, and then it should be all good. So now next, we got to rinse out the skimmer and the filter sock, and then we should be good to go, and this tank is all clean. Now that everything is clean, I take this. It's not the cleanest. They can be cleaner. They come all white. I have fresh ones left over. Some people have thrown them in the washing machine. You bleach them, let them soak overnight. I just do this just because it's quick, easy, It may not get it completely done, but I still come in here and I clean it out every couple days. I don't do it as frequently as other people, so I just, that's what I do. It sits right back in there. Let's go over here, get the protein skimmer, little cup piece, waste grabber. I don't really know what this part's actually called. Then you come over here and you set it right inside there. I'm gonna have to set you guys down for a second. You screw it on. So now that is screwed back on, I will turn it up one more just because it's a little on the low side for some reason. And what happens is it builds a bunch of bubbles, and the bubbles overflow the waste because the waste is lighter than the water, so it wants to float, and then all the waste collects in this cup. So if anyone's curious, that's how that works. And then all this is back level. Everything up here is moving around good. Then I come over here and I say, okay, you're good. And that is it. Ta-da, everything is done. I go ahead and actually I'll turn this back up too because that was, it used to be up a little bit higher. I actually lowered it a little bit the other day. But that is it. It's a little foggy, a little cloudy. I go through, like I said earlier, Windex all the glass on all the aquariums throughout the house, and that is it. So I'm not gonna get into any more with that. I know I said I was gonna feed it for you guys, but I think this video is long enough. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys learned something. If you didn't, maybe I'll learn something about corals in this. And also leave a comment about a light for the Nano tank. And yeah, that's about all I got. See ya.